Donald Trump's response to the deadly crash in Washington, D.C. last week at Reagan Airport, it's just something that I haven't been able to get out of my head. You know, he went out there, he held his little press conference where he, of course, blamed everything on Biden and Biden's initiatives, and then went in to talk about how this crash in D.C. was the fault of people with mental disabilities, people with physical disabilities, people that were missing limbs, and yes, he even went as far as to say that it was dwarfism. He literally stood at that podium, told the world that among all these other things, dwarfism was to blame for the deadly plane crash. The President of the United States is insane. That's it. The President of the United States is insane. A normal person would not say things like this. I mean, I hate to keep going back to this well, but I'm going to because I think it's very important. Imagine if President Biden had got up on stage, during a press conference, wherever, did an interview, and he said, well, some of the problems in this country are caused by people that are missing an arm. It's caused by people, by little people. They would have immediately been calling for the 25th Amendment to remove him from office. That 100% would have happened. If Biden said those words, every outlet in this country would be talking about invoking the 25th Amendment because he is mentally unwell. And yet, this was just the latest in a long line of outrages from Donald Trump that most people have already forgotten about, even though it was only 4 days ago. We've moved on because there's been so many other outrages, right? We got the trade war. We got Elon Musk now acting as a dictator. There's a lot of things to be outraged about. But I think the number one thing we ought to be concerned about is the fact that the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is fucking insane. There is no other way to say it. There is no other way to spell it out. There is no sugarcoating this or nicing it up or, trying to not mince words. No, to hell with that. We got to call it like it is. This man is effing crazy. He is making dumbass decisions because he's too stupid to understand how anything on the planet works. He's in office because of his own vanity, his own ego, and he is using that to destroy us. Diversity, equity, inclusion is not to blame for that plane crash. The chaos that Donald Trump and Elon Musk have created in the government in 2 short weeks is to blame. There was one air traffic controller on duty the night of that crash. One. Having to handle both the helicopter traffic and the airplane traffic, which never happens, right? You got to have one helicopter person at least and one plane person at least. You don't overlap. And that's according to the FAA, because the FAA already released their report and told us what happened. We're understaffed. And hey, guess what? This administration came in and issued a hiring freeze. So we can't even hire anybody. So maybe more is going to happen. And then, wouldn't you know it, another one did happen. We had 2 plane crashes in a week here on U.S. soil where we have not had plane crashes in years and years and years. And it's because Donald Trump doesn't know what he's doing because he doesn't think he needs to know what he's doing. And then when the bad things happen, he goes out there and says the craziest things you've ever imagined. If you heard somebody on a street corner yelling out the things that Trump said in that press conference, you'd cross the street to stay away from them because you'd be worried for your safety because that person is crazy. But it's not coming from a person on a street corner. It's not coming from anybody in a mental institution. It is coming from the President of the United States, a convicted felon that doesn't need to be in prison. I'll give you that. He doesn't need to be in prison. He needs to be in a friggin' psych ward. That is how crazy I believe this man is. I truly, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, believe that Donald J. Trump is insane. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.